Everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and our continuing series, Ranking Rancor, where I rank my top 5 Sonic games in both 2D and 3D, and you can clearly tell for the number 1 spot, we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Before I talk about it, if you could do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. We really appreciate your guys' support. But the reason this made the number 1 spot is a twofold reason. One, fundamentally I do think it is the best 2D Sonic game ever made, and two, I have an insane amount of nostalgia for this game. Because while I did get the original Sonic the Hedgehog with my Genesis for Christmas, I was probably a bit young to fully understand how to play the game. I loved it, I beat it, but I don't think I ever really picked it back up until later in life. Where Sonic 2 I got for Christmas and I was just a little bit older, and I absolutely fell in love with the game. It's just one of those games where I continually played it for years. I beat it every way I could. I looked for secrets. I basically memorized the entire map. And I think that's why it really sticks with me at that number 1 spot. And like I've said with this entire series, these are all just my opinions. And a lot of them are based on, some functional gameplay elements, but a lot of nostalgia. Because with these old series, like the original Sonics on the Sega Genesis, so much of it is informed by nostalgia. Like this soundtrack here with the first Robotnik fight. I can hum this right out of my imagination. I could probably do it in my sleep. This game just sounds like my childhood, and it brings back so many fun memories of just sitting around in my bedroom on a little 20-inch CRT that was probably garbage quality, and just being absolutely enthralled with the entire experience and just enjoying my time with it. And even today as an adult, when I pick it up and play it, I still have a smile on my face. I still have a lot of fun, and that's what's really coming down to me putting this at the number 1 spot, is every time I put Sonic 2 in my console or however else I play it, I just have a great time with it from start to finish. And now moving on to Chemical Plant Zone, again, that soundtrack is just absolutely outstanding. Now I will say there's one thing in this game that I just absolutely hate, and I'm sure you're already going to be able to know what it is, but it is the water. Not so much the gameplay element of the water, but that panic-inducing Sonic's going to drown in 5 seconds soundtrack. That just scares the hell out of me. If you played that in real life, I think I'd get a little bit of anxiety and start looking over my shoulder and making sure I wasn't underwater. And I know it gets a lot of complaints as being an easy way to die, and it certainly is, but something about that just audio cue, I'm just like, oh god, Sonic's gonna drown. I remember it as a kid, and I'm just trying to avoid the water at all costs. And even today, as an adult, I try to take the top track and avoid the water because it still gives me a kind of joking stress involved in it. But that is really part and parcel of this entire game. Every stage is awesome. Every soundtrack entry is great. It has perfect flow. The level design is good. It's complicated enough to have multiple paths, but it hasn't gotten too far into the maze-like element that I kind of think Sonic the Hedgehog went to in 2D, and I definitely appreciate that as well. But I even love that city backdrop there, those oranges, those yellows. It looks industrial. It just has that quality Sega Genesis look that I remember growing up, because I was a Sega Genesis kid and not a Super Nintendo kid. I only got a Super Nintendo later on in life because it's what my wife grew up with, and she kind of gave me joking crap that Mario was better than Sonic, and she made me play them all. Now that we're moving on to the special stage as well, as a kid, I just couldn't believe my Sega Genesis could do something like this. Obviously, it's not actually 3D, but when I was a kid, my brain didn't know the difference, and I love these little mini games to be able to get the Chaos Emeralds. They were challenging, especially towards the end, but I just played them over and over again, trying to get all those emeralds and get the best ending of the game. And I appreciated that Sega put a lot of that in as well. All these different secrets, all these different ways to beat the game, different endings, Chaos Emeralds. There's plenty of layers underneath the main game that give you extra replayability. And as a kid who isn't being given video games every week, not like an adult where I can just stupidly buy them and probably not open them and play them for a while, you had to make things last back then, and being able to get all those Chaos Emeralds and have all those bonus stages was just amazing. And here's that music, and oh, I hate it. Even just listening to it for the voiceover, it just gives me a little bit of anxiety stress. But we're out. What I want you to do now is watch a little bit of the game, enjoy the music on Aquatic Ruin Zone, and I'll be back in just a second to finish out the 2D entry in our number 1 Ranking Rancor series. But enjoy! And he is drowned. And I will say that I have a fear of drowning, and I swear it came from playing Sonic 2. I'm a perfectly strong swimmer, but for some reason every time I see an open body of water, I get a little bit of stressed out about it because I really don't want to go underneath the water and not be able to breathe. And I'm starting to realize I think Sega and Sonic actually gave me that fear. But joking aside, not joking, I think it actually is true, Sonic 2 just has everything I need in a Sonic game. The soundtrack's amazing, the gameplay's amazing, this background here in the casino zone with all those sparkling, twinkling lights, it just makes me happy when I play it. And having done this entire series, ranking all the games, a lot of the gameplay elements did weigh into my decision, but what I really just thought about is how much fun did I have playing these games? How much fun do I still have playing these games? Something like Sonic CD, which I remember really fondly as a child, as an adult it's way easier to see the flaws in it, and I don't have as much fun playing it now as I did when I was a kid and just basically loved anything that was a video game. Or something like Sonic 2 that comes in at the #1 spot, I still love playing it. It still makes me happy. And that's why it ends up at the #1 spot, because I can still sit down and enjoy this game from start to finish and have a great time. Especially Wing Fortress here. This was just a crazy level because it actually slowed Sonic down a little bit. The entire game you're basically running forward and trying to move as fast as you can, which is his clearly Sonic shtick, gotta go fast. But now the gameplay changes up again and we need to be a little bit more methodical with our movements, a little bit more careful in planning because it's very easy to take a death in this stage. And as a kid, that kind of was a fun element. It still mixed up the gameplay, and I do like that about the game and still do, where some of the other Sonic games should just run forward as fast as you can, try to avoid obstacles, jump out of the way, and beat the level. But the bosses in this game are great, and if you've never played it, you just 100% have to. I can't imagine there's anybody out there who hasn't played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 yet, but if you are that person, 100% figure out a way to go and play this game. But that is ranking Rancor on the 2D portion. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is my #1 pick. I really appreciate you guys watching this whole series. We'll be back next week with the 3D entry for #1, but you leave me a comment below and tell me what you think about Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What would be your #1 pick? Do you remember playing this game? What did you think about it? That chicken there totally gave me a cheap shot, and the game still has some trickery. Like you'll see here, you have to jump up to this next platform to be able to sneak into the plane, and I had forgotten that. But I do love how they're just a little bit tricky with the areas you need to go, and I do love these panels that rip off here. But thanks so much for watching. We'll have videos on Sunday. I'm back with our mainline series on Tuesday, and next Friday we'll have the #1 pick and the 3D entry for Sonic the Hedgehog. But we hope you enjoy this, and you have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.